and that's Rex Brandon Cole. He's a product of Reid Temple, was born and bred in Reid Temple, and when Brandon came and sat at the table, he's brilliant. And he said to me, Uncle Rev, that's what he called me, Uncle Rev, I'm going to get this over the finish line. And I said, well, thank you, Brandon. He's no longer with the firm, but certainly I want to acknowledge his contribution. Reverend Watley and also Reverend Lashley are now with Kingdom, but they also sat at the table, and I just want to acknowledge their presence as well. I thought I saw Art. Was he here? Yeah, there he is. Man, if you want to get proper zoning, that's the man to go to, because he knows how to do it. He knows how to do it. So the point I'm trying to make here is the importance of building relationships. Whatever you're trying to do, success has to do with relationships. And so I want to thank and honor God that I serve, and I'm as preachers say, I'm coming to a close. I served Reid Temple for 37 years, and God is really kind and gracious and allowed me to make many errors, and people were very patient. But in those 37 years, we moved from the Michigan Avenue to Good Luck Road, and then at Good Luck Road, we invested in building a worship center complex, 3,000 seats. The Lord was so good to us that we still had to put chairs in the aisle, multiple services, and we had our own academy, our own credit union, recording studio, and counseling center. Those were things that were given to us so that we could help strengthen those persons who were members of Reid Temple as well as the larger community. I'm so grateful for the demonstrated faithfulness of the people, standing firm. The vision was communicated. After I asked God, I said, now look, what do you want me to do now? And God said, build a senior community and complex where the seniors can live out the balance of their days in dignity. He said, build that center, that community complex, so that Doctors Hospital and the new, it's under construction now, Prince George's County Hospital can render services in that building and provide medical information. Build that complex, that community, so that the hairstylists and the barbers can come in and can groom them, and they can feel good about that. Build that center so that they can have a place where they can have recreational opportunities and educational opportunities, and information can be shared with them. And when they get a little uptight, they can take a walk in the Woodlands and meditate with God. Build that center so that it's intergenerational, so that the millennials and those who come after them can learn and glean from the experience of those who have come up the rough side of the mountain. That's what God said. Build it. And Bishop, I stood on the conference floor about 3+ years ago. Bishop, our tremendous bishop, heard me talk about this. And this conference year at the Washington Conference, I passed it on to Pastor Whitlock. And so Pastor Whitlock and Lady Mia can stand and say, the vision that was proposed is now in full works. It has come to pass. These are my final concluding words. Dr. Oliphant at a meeting put on the floor, she said, we need to name this after Pastor Washington. Let's call it Washington Arms. The motion would have carried, but I stopped it. I said, no, I don't want it built with my name on it. Yeah. But you can give a room to me. You can. I said, no, I don't want my name on it. And we all came to an agreement that it would be called the Woodlands. I'm grateful for just mentioning that, and I do appreciate this. This is groundbreaking. It's like throwing out the first pitch of a baseball game. This starts, but it also signals that there's work to be done. And I would just simply ask, as we have in the past, that you would continue to pray, that you would continue to stay in the spirit of unity, and just watch what God will do. To God be the glory. Thank you for your patience this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Pastor, thank you very much. Next up, we have Secretary Kenneth Holt with the Secretary. He's the Secretary of Maryland State Housing and Community Development. I wanted to thank you for your support. This project, and he'll talk a bit more about the funding, but the state of Maryland was a huge partner and actually down to the wire came with additional funding. So we want to thank you so much.
Good morning on this beautiful day. So I'm, I think, infused with the beauty that God has created, and my sense is that God holds the compass that directs each and every one of us in our lives, and He points us in the right direction. Some of us, like the Bishop Davis referenced homeless people, some of us need help, and the state of Maryland is here to provide help. I will tell you that last year, the chronically homeless declined in the state of Maryland by nearly 10%, and it's the first state in the nation where there's been a significant decline in the chronically homeless. It's because we work together to address the problem. It's not a problem necessarily of financing, and we'll reference the financial support that we've provided. But it's really a matter of everybody pulling together and caring about the future. And I can say by being here with each and every one of you today that the future is extraordinarily bright. I bring greetings from Governor Hogan and Lieutenant Governor Rutherford, and their sincere congratulations on what you've accomplished. I will tell you that in addition to your prayers, the state provided nearly $55 million in financing support to construct this. Senator Benson has clearly, I sat in the General Assembly in front of Senator Benson, and she'd often flick me in the back of the head. Hold, pay attention. So I know how effective she is. That money is part of a very broad commitment that Governor Hogan has made to addressing affordability across the state of Maryland. And I'm pleased to tell you that last year we invested about $438 million in creating affordable housing for seniors and the disabled and low and moderate income people. And since the inception of his term in office, we have preserved or constructed over 15,000 units of affordable senior and housing for the disabled at a cost of over $2 billion. So we're working together arm in arm, and my deepest appreciation for the invitation to be here in this beautiful site, and I look forward to coming back for the ribbon cutting, which I hope is not in the too distant future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Secretary Holt. Not only was the state a great partner in this project, but also the great county of Prince George's, which I'm a proud resident of. There were some very challenging opportunities, whether it was getting a text amendment through from an entitlement perspective to a pilot, a payment in lieu of taxes, to funding, such as the home loan as well as rental housing work. So the partnership was just tremendous with the county, and we want to bring forward, we know the county exec could not make it, but we also have a representative, the Deputy Chief, Office for Economic Development, Mr. Ray Gilly.
Yeah. Watch that step. I just wanted to get your attention, did I? Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure and honor to be here on behalf of County Executive Officer Brooks. I assure you she's much more graceful than that. But it's a pleasure to be here and on this wonderful occasion. I can tell you that what she would likely say if she were here, minus the entrance, of course, is that senior housing is one of the most important, I would say, objectives of her administration, because the senior population, which is 62 and older, represents approximately 31%
of our almost 1 million population in the county, and it's growing. So the need is definitely there. So this beautiful facility, once constructed, and I want to say thanks and congratulations to the team who started this and the persistence, and for all the members who joined this team to help make it happen. I see Harold over there. He called me to make sure I was on my way. Harold, thank you so much, and to the entire team, and to Pastor Whitlock, and to your congregation, your team, and your leadership, and your vision. Certainly is coming to fruition today. I'm going to keep my remarks very short because I have a partner here today, Mr. Floyd Holt, who's become a dear friend, and he's a fellow DCAO. I understand he's a past member of this church. He's going to bring some greetings as well. But I just want to say and take this opportunity to recognize several of our team members who are here from the Department of Community and Housing Development, Estella and your team. So every member, please, of the, not only of that department, but of the county administration, please just raise your hand, just be recognized, because it's a truly a team effort, and whatever is needed in any project, they step forth and help make it happen. So with that, I'm going to conclude my remarks and then introduce my partner, Mr. Floyd Holt, to come forward and to make some remarks. And this Floyd Holt is DCAO of anyway, lots of stuff. So anyway, I'll keep it short. Floyd, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning. Before I make a couple of comments, Dr. Washington, I just want to get the name of that tailor so I can stop. Again, my name is Floyd Holt, and I'm the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for Government Infrastructure, Technology, and the Environment. Angela couldn't be here this morning because Governor Hogan is in her office prior to making some comments about the Purple Line project that we're working on. For me, this is a dream come true. As a 30-year member of Reid Temple and a 12-year chair of the trustee board, like Will said, it's personal for me too. I can recall back in February of 2015 when Dr. Washington called us in and talked about his vision for a senior housing project. Seemed abstract at that time, but because of his leadership and the faith that he imparted in us to have faith in God, we knew it was just a matter of time before this project would come to fruition. If you believe the statistics, there's a 300,000 unit deficit for affordable housing, low maintenance housing, high quality housing in the Washington metropolitan area. So this is a great step toward bridging that gap. And I'll just conclude, because of the limited time, by saying, on behalf of the greatest county executive in Prince George's County, the Honorable Angela Brooks, we congratulate you on the first step, and as my namesake, Kenneth Hope, indicated, I look forward to coming back in 24 months for the ribbon cutting. We're Prince George's proud.
Thank you, Brother Floyd. So we have Councilmember Todd in the house. We'd like to have him come up and give us a couple of remarks, and wanted to thank him for his leadership on the council and helping us to maneuver through and being a big advocate for the Woodlands at Reid Temple.
Good morning, everyone. What a great day we are having today. To Reverend Washington, the Reid Temple Church family, to all those gathered here today, on behalf of the Prince George's County Council, I bring you greetings. I do want to recognize my colleague, Councilmember Mel Franklin, is here with us this morning as well. I think that's the only one I saw. If there are any other here, just let me know. I understand the journey. Having been elected in 2014, taken office in 2015. So we share the success that we have before us today. And it wasn't without challenge. It wasn't without a lot of community input as part of this process. And so I know Reid Temple has chosen the Glendale community for their home and for this project in particular. And I know you will continue to work with the surrounding community to make sure that you continue to be good neighbors here in the Glendale community. So this has been a journey. Obviously, you have many partners who are here. I want to thank you for your development team who has worked with us at the county government to get you to this point. And obviously, we look forward to the continued work and the construction and the continued input that Reid Temple has, not only here in Glendale, but in Prince George's County. So congratulations on this historic day for the church, and we look forward to the continued work moving forward in the near future. So Reverend Washington, thank you again for your vision and opportunity, and you're working with the community, because I know you are a part of this community and will continue to do that as this project develops. And I know, as Mr. Halt indicated, about the need in Prince George's County, but also in this area of the county for this type of development. And so obviously the governmental support that you've gotten from the state, from the county, from the private sector is important as we try to meet the needs here in Prince George's County. So thank you again for allowing me to say a few words, and congratulations, and we look forward to the work ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Todd. So next up, I'm going to take a little time with this introduction here. We have Senator Benson coming up. You heard from the pastor, and you know, I'll be honest with you, I don't really know the lady that well, but I feel like I know her. She got some spirit in her, and she definitely is outspoken, staunch advocate for the state, the county, for God, and she just warms my spirit every time I see her. And she has testified on our behalf, and wanted to yield the floor to her so she can provide some remarks as well.
You know, I'm getting a bad reputation. Look what the Lord has done. Nobody but him. When I walked up here, something said, Joanne Benson, why don't you shout for a minute? I felt so good coming up this hill, I can't even tell you all. It's just a blessing to be here, to be above ground. Because I have enough sense to know that with the snap of a finger, the Lord could take our breath away. Isn't he good? Is he better than that? Before I proceed, I want to also recognize Teresa Grant. Teresa Grant is here today. I want you all to see her. Teresa Grant is the acting. She works with the Department of Family Services, but her focus is on senior citizens, the Department of Aging. And through the years, this wonderful woman has responded each time that I call her, and I call her quite often if I think there's a problem with a senior citizen, and she responds. Now I tell people all the time that I recognize the fact that I get on people's nerves. I do not apologize. Because when there's something that needs to be done, we need to get it done. And I tell people all the time, I don't worry about who likes me. God loves me, and that's enough. One of my top priorities are seniors. My mother went on to New Jerusalem, and I know where she is because she told me the night before she passed that that the Lord had given her keys to New Jerusalem. So I know where my mother is. She told me where she was going. She told me she had talked to the Lord. She said, I'll see you. And I promised her, I'm going to see you in heaven. And I live every day of my life serving the Lord. I want you all to know that and get a joy out of doing it. I shouted in front of the president of the Senate, and he ran out of the room. didn't know what was going on. Now I was given 2 minutes to speak. 2 long minutes to speak. Rev Dr Lee P. Washington. What can I say? I'd like to cite for you all an incident that occurred here a couple years ago, where there was a proposal for a train that was supposed to come through the 24th Legislative District. And had we agreed, it would have taken a portion of Reid Temple. It would have gotten in the way of this project here. Got on the phone, called Rev Lee P. Washington. I went over to his office. I said, not so. We're not going to have it. We were not concerned about the train, because the train is going to come whether you all like that or not. We can't stop modern technology, but not in our community. So with the help of Dr. Lee P. Washington, my pastor, John K. Jenkins, and a few of us, we convened a meeting of 800 people, and we stopped the train. It's not the train, it's the path of the train. And so we're working on that with them, because we understand that it's coming. And so I'm just very glad to be here this afternoon. Yes, I did play a little role in getting the Woodlands at Reid Temple. When they went down to, when this crowd of members of Reid Temple went down to the courthouse with themselves, sitting there with their hands folded, vowing to stay all night long, if that's how long it took, to let the council know and the planning board know that this project was important. And yes, I did whisper to the good pastor, I'm going to help you. I'm going to take care of this one. And so I want to thank the state of Maryland for understanding and providing with about over $50 million for this project. And I want you all to know that, yes, we were very diligent. The delegates and I were we were really concerned that this project be built, because the waiting list for senior citizens who want to downsize, senior citizens who want to live in an affordable apartment, a housing project that's not going to. I talked to some people this morning. There's a project that's being built down in Bowie, and the persons who move in must pay $8,000 a month. Did y'all hear me? The project has not even been built. The shovel has not been put in the dirt, and we have people who have signed up. Well, guess what? We have senior citizens that are not able to do that at all. We have senior citizens in the 24th Legislative District that makes, and Teresa will tell you, that makes their income is less than $20,000 a year. And so this project is extremely important. And I want you all to know that I am strongly committed to doing whatever I can to build more projects like this in Prince George's County for our senior citizens. I want to thank Todd Turner. I want to thank Mel Franklin. I want to thank everybody who played a role here in Prince George's County, the Development Authority. I want to thank you all for not saying no, because you understand that this is so critical. We need to roll up our sleeves and do more for those who can't speak for themselves. Homelessness is unacceptable, especially when it comes to our seniors. When you become a senior citizen, I know I'm going to do that one of these days, or at least I'm going to admit it. When I'm 104, I will admit that I'm a senior citizen. And we should not have to worry too much about anything. And so this project is extremely important. Now, I could go on and on talking to you all this morning My 2 minutes are up, but I want to thank the bishops. I want to thank, once again, Reverend Lee P. Washington and the members of the board and the community for your vision and understanding that you were not going to take no for an answer by any means necessary. You're the kind of people I like to hang around with. Because you don't tell me no, especially when I know it's going to benefit my people, the little people who can't speak for themselves. To God be all the glory. And I do look forward, I'll probably come to church this coming Sunday for communion. And don't be surprised if I shout a while. Thank you all so much. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you, Senator Benson. So next up, we have one of our development partners, Ken Naylor with Atlantic Pacific Community, is going to come up and talk about the project a little bit more. But I'd like to just kind of share a couple comments or remarks as we were putting together an RFP. We wanted to make sure that we were out in front of it, knew we had the right partners and the right design. And so we did a solicitation. We had proposals from lots of teams, and APC Urban Matters had the best financial package for us, right? But we didn't like the design, quite frankly. So what we had done, and WineSec is here as well as Ben Dyer, I'd like to recognize them, because I'm not sure if you all have seen the rendering over there. That does not look like affordable housing. It honors our seniors, right? It's in the Woodlands. And so we were able to match the design that we wanted with the developer that we wanted. And so we were able to match WineSec Architects with APC Urban Matters. And I'll bring Ken up to talk a little more about the project. Thank you.
Good morning. It is a great day, as Pastor Washington said. It was an honor on behalf of my team at Atlantic Pacific, which is 1,500 people, which by Reid Temple standards is tiny, but by development companies fairly large. It was an honor to be chosen by Reid Temple 3.5 years ago. It was a more exciting voyage than any of us originally anticipated, and I'll tell you a little bit more about why. This development's exciting for us also in part because it's our first foray into the state of Maryland as a company. But as Will said, this is personal, and for me, it's personal because I was born in Prince George's County. So when after I hung up the phone with Will and Ray Nix to celebrate closing on financing, my first call was to my mother, who is one of these ladies who someday will admit that she qualifies as a senior citizen as well. And I got to tell her this amazing story about this incredible congregation, the level of commitment that we saw here, the development that we're just about to start building. Some of the things that Will kept harping on, and I say that with love, was, and they're in the development, so don't worry, is community spaces.
Sit down here a minute.
There's community spaces in each residential building. There are gathering spaces. There's specifically programmed spaces throughout, because the most important thing for Reid Temple and its CDC was creating a sense of community and a building that created something much greater than just a apartment community, but a real community. So after I hung over with my mom, I think I reflected back, and I think I may have overdone it, because she very directly told me she expected to be invited to the ribbon cutting and started suggesting what time of year the weather would be best for said ribbon cutting.
That's some more.
So as I think about my mom, and as all of you hopefully reflect on your own families, I don't think there's any more basic objective for a community than making sure our seniors are well taken care of.
Right.
It's the right thing to do, but just because it's the right thing to do, it doesn't make it easy. Dr. Washington referred to some of our tense moments as a partnership, some of the challenges we all lived through and surmounted. So just to give you a little insight into those, early on, the federal government passed tax reform a few years back. It was in the news. And that act, the unintended consequence of that was immediately 15% less equity dollars from our tax credits into the development. In addition, construction costs were rising about 5% a year in this market in the last 3.5 years. So it was like we were trying to scale a mountain that got a little bit steeper with every step. Because of those challenges, we needed a lot more help than we anticipated at the beginning. The state chipped in with 3 different types of financial support. Prince George's County provided 2 different types of financial support, along with zoning and countless other assists along the way. And it didn't just take dollars, it took heroic efforts from a lot of individuals. I don't want to get too redundant with some of the past comments, but there are some people I need to mention. Will Mangrum, I think folks have already talked about your leadership and guidance of the CDC. What I'm not sure anyone realizes quite as acutely as I do is this was his second full-time job for the last 3 years. I mean, he gave and he gave and he gave. Our own senior development manager, Scott Kriebel, I think he literally wore the paint off of his keyboard, working up financing structures, reworking those financing structures when they broke down. Ray Nix, our local partner, this is our 3rd development with him. Let's just say there's a lot of authorities in the room, but there may have been some speeding laws broken on a couple of occasions to ensure that our applications got in on time. And once the tires stopped smoking, he also provided invaluable strategic support to our partnership. Harold Johnson, who fought for this development every day, was fighting for it even yesterday, just getting everything wrapped up at the county. And our design team, Winsec and Ben Dyer, who worked to craft a beautiful building that we could still afford to build, which is a lot more work than anyone could possibly understand. And our contractor, Whiting Turner, who's about to be under 24 months of Ken and Will pressure to come in as fast as possible, also tighten their belts before even breaking ground to make sure that this started at a number that we could afford. The state of Maryland and Prince George's County have an incredible staff of professionals who brought us here today as well. Matt Beston and his team at PNC also were stalwarts, stuck with us for the last 2 years as the financial structure kept evolving. So in summary, I want to thank you all for 3.5 years of partnership and dedication. We're looking forward to delivering 252 affordable homes for seniors as quickly as we possibly can. I look forward to seeing you all again at the